For decades, thousands of women across the United Kingdom believed they would receive their state pension at the age of 60. It was a promise many had built their entire lives around. Retirement plans, savings, family responsibilities, and future security were all based on that expectation. But for millions of women born in the 1950s, that expectation suddenly changed. And today, the fight for justice continues under one powerful campaign name: Women Against State Pension Inequality, also known as WASPI. Now, the controversy has entered a new phase after campaigners launched another legal challenge against the UK government over compensation claims linked to state pension age changes. The issue has become one of the most controversial pension disputes in modern British politics, involving questions of fairness, government responsibility, and financial hardship affecting millions of women. So what exactly happened? Why are WASPI women angry? And why is this battle still ongoing years later? Let's break it all down. The story begins with changes made to the UK state pension system. Historically, women in Britain could claim their state pension at the age of 60, while men had to wait until 65. In the 1990s, the government decided to equalize the pension age between men and women. The idea itself was not necessarily controversial. Many accepted that equal retirement ages made sense in principle. The real problem, according to campaigners, was the way these changes were communicated. Under new laws introduced gradually over time, the pension age for women increased from 60 to 65, and later to 66. But many women say they were not properly informed about these changes. Some claim they received little or no notice. Others say letters arrived too late for them to realistically adjust their finances or retirement plans. For many affected women, the consequences were severe. Some had already left work expecting retirement income to begin soon. Others had caring responsibilities for elderly parents, grandchildren, or family members. Many had limited savings because they spent decades in lower-paid work or took career breaks to raise children, something common for women of that generation. Then suddenly, they discovered they would need to wait years longer before receiving their state pension. For some women, that meant returning to work in their 60s. For others, it meant relying on savings, borrowing money, selling assets, or falling into financial hardship. Campaigners argue that the issue is not about opposing pension age equality itself. Instead, they say the government failed in its duty to properly inform citizens about life-changing decisions. This frustration eventually led to the formation of the Women Against State Pension Inequality campaign, known widely as WASPI. Over the years, the campaign grew into a national movement representing millions of women born in the 1950s. WASPI campaigners organized protests, petitions, political lobbying, and legal action in an attempt to secure compensation for those affected. The issue became even bigger after the UK Parliamentary and Health Service Ombudsman investigated the matter. The Ombudsman concluded that the Department for Work and Pensions, often called the DWP, had committed what is known as maladministration. In simple terms, this means the government failed to properly handle communication regarding the pension age changes. The Ombudsman stated that many women were not given adequate notice and recommended compensation payments. Suggested payouts ranged roughly from £1,000 to nearly £3,000 per person, depending on the level of impact experienced. Considering that millions of women could potentially qualify, the total cost of the government could run into billions of pounds. At first, this appeared to be a major victory for WASPI campaigners. After years of fighting, an official public body had recognized failures in the government's handling of the issue, but the story did not end there. The UK government later responded by acknowledging communication failures and apologizing for delays and mistakes. However, ministers ultimately decided not to create a compensation scheme. The government argued that while mistakes had occurred, most women were already aware of pension age changes through media coverage and public discussion. Officials also claimed it would be extremely difficult to determine exactly who suffered financial losses specifically because of delayed communication. Another major factor was cost. A nationwide compensation program could potentially cost taxpayers billions of pounds during a period when public finances are already under pressure. This decision triggered outrage among WASPI supporters. Campaigners accuse the government of ignoring the Ombudsman's findings and dismissing the real-life struggles faced by affected women. Many argued that an apology alone was not enough after years of financial hardship. Now, the dispute has entered yet another dramatic chapter. According to recent reports, Women Against State Pension Inequality campaigners are launching a fresh legal challenge against the government. The group argues that ministers made serious legal errors when refusing compensation recommendations. Campaign leaders say the government failed to properly follow the Ombudsman's conclusions and did not fairly assess the evidence presented during the investigation. They believe the refusal to compensate affected women may be unlawful and are preparing to fight the decision through the courts. This means the battle is no longer just political. It is becoming a major legal confrontation as well. And there is also growing political pressure surrounding the issue. Millions of women were affected by these pension age changes, making them a powerful voting group in the UK. Campaigners warn that politicians who ignore the issue could face serious consequences at future elections. WASPI leaders argue that this is about trust between citizens and government institutions. They say ordinary people should be able to rely on official communication when planning retirement and financial security. Critics of the government also point out that many women born in the 1950s experienced unique financial disadvantages throughout their lives. Compared with younger generations, many had fewer workplace pension opportunities, lower average pay, and less financial independence during earlier decades.